Welcome back to Love at Any Age, where dating doesn't come with an expiration date. I am Laurie Gerber, dating coach, truth teller, and believer that women over 50 deserve to love and be loved better than ever before. I said it. If you have ever thought, I don't even know what I want anymore, or moaned, I just keep attracting the same kind of guy, today's episode is going to change everything. Because today we are diving into my favorite and most useful tool that I give my private coaching clients, and it is called the 3H method. Yes, another wonderful Handel method. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make your very own 3H chart to use in dating. You're going to learn why your last relationship might have failed before it even got started. It's because, spoiler alert, one of your 3H's or more was ignored. I will show you how to get crystal clear on what actually matters. Oh my gosh, away with these 100 item lists. We're going to hone in on what actually matters so you can stop falling for potential and start choosing your real suitable companion. And we're going to fix the 4 most common mistakes that women over 50 make when it comes to defining what they want. So you can finally make the list that I'm going to have you come up with work for you, not against you. You can't call in love if you don't know what you want. And this is what I see over and over again coaching women over 50. You think you know what you want. Tall, dark, and handsome. It's the old cliche. Or you might say funny, successful, and tall. But those are cliches and guesses at best, not the truth about what your very unique soul actually wants. And again, when you have not inquired what you want from all 3H's, your head, your heart, and your hoo-ha, if you don't know what they're really asking for, you're going to end up saying yes to what is familiar, not what's truly right for you. Now, your 3H chart is meant to change all that. It's meant to make it very clear and help you align the logical, practical part of you, the heart part, the one who cares about how you feel, and your hoo-ha, the chemistry, the attraction. So you can stop a guessing game and you can stop crossing your fingers and hoping, and you can just choose better from now on. Because when the 3H's are aligned, you feel calm and turned on. You feel safe and excited. Imagine that. Imagine that sweet spot. So grab a pen and paper or your phone or wherever you like to take notes because we are about to make your chart. And we're going to have 3 different columns: the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha. I'm going to walk you through what goes into each, and you're going to pick your top 5 to 7 things that go in each category that really matter to you. And you're going to take care to give it language that really speaks to the heart, the essential aspect of what it is that you're looking for. So language matters, words matter. So head, those are the practical things, the life structure things, the things that make a relationship work, practically speaking, like location, schedule, money habits, lifestyle choices, health, politics, retirement plans, family life, pets, habits, bad habits, addictions. Here's the trick. It's not 25 things. It's 5 to 10 really, really, really important things. Like if that was in place, anything else would be okay because those things are the most essential. Like you're geographically compatible. You don't have to say lives 50 miles, but geographically compatible. You can make it work. There's a financial compatibility. In other words, whatever that means to you, you can take vacations together. He doesn't need your money. He's financially stable. He can pay his own bills. Enjoys physical activity could be an example. Enjoys eating well. No major untreated addictions. Family oriented. Okay with plenty of time apart. That could be something that your head really needs to be sure is in place to be happy. Interested in a long-term commitment. That's really important. If you are looking for long-term, and I am not saying you need to be, because if you're not, if you're looking for something casual, then under head, it would say feels fine about casual. But if you're looking for long term, one of the criteria needs to be for your head that this person is also interested in looking for long term commitment. And they're not the same. Long term commitment and casual, 2 totally different agendas. And lastly, you might put something like our dreams intersect well logistically. So if one of you has the dream to keep working 60 hours a week for the next 10 years and the other one wants to retire right away and travel the world, those dreams do not intersect logistically. So in terms of how you want to spend your time and how you want to be together, those things need to be compatible. Those are some examples of the kind of thing the head cares about. Please go ahead and write your list. Now, understand that you can keep coming back to this and keep changing this. Okay. So don't stress out if you can't decide right away. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to hone this and reconsider and even practice in real life and find out if it's true, because so often what we say on our list at first is not what turns out to be true. Let's make your heart list. This is about emotional compatibility, communication, connection. Think energy level, humor. Are you laughing? Are you making him laugh? Is he making you laugh? What's the style of communication? Frequency and style, right? How does it feel? What kind of independence or interdependence are you looking for from each other? Are you comfortable with how much time you spend together and apart? Affection, how much, how often, what types of affection? Shared values can come under heart. Emotional availability. Does the person feel like they want to talk about who they are, how they think, how they feel, and get the same in return from you? So again, just a quick couple of very common ones I see when I look at 3H charts: kind communication, laughs easily and often, emotionally steady, I feel safe, values growth and honesty, shows up well for family and friends. Just some examples of some heart criteria that people have. And now let's talk about hoo-ha. Make sure you've jotted down your 5 to 7 things under heart that are really, really important to you that would make you feel good in a relationship. Hoo-ha is about chemistry. And yes, what creates chemistry, what creates attraction, changes with age. I'm not going to argue with that. What turned you on when you were 16 is probably not the same as when you were 36, is not the same as when you're 66. But hoo-ha doesn't disappear unless you tell it to. Okay, it doesn't disappear. I don't care if you have prostate issues. I don't care if you went dry in menopause. I don't care if you think there's an age limit on happy sexuality. That is in your head and possibly in your body if you haven't seen a doctor. But it is not the truth that hoo-ha necessarily needs to be cast aside. So intimacy, attraction, chemistry live under hoo-ha. It could be things like appearance, but it can also be things like the style of kissing you like, how the touch feels to you, how open the person is to sex, and what is their desire for it. Again, style and frequency. And physical compatibility. I've had couples find themselves incompatible because they literally didn't like each other's smell. Okay, so physical compatibility has to do with way more than just height, build, hair color, eye color, things like that. So please go deep. You can say things like hair color and eye color, but know that most people find that whatever they thought their type was, frequently they find themselves falling in love with and being attracted to people who do not fit those exact descriptors. And there's no evidence to show that those descriptors are what makes us happy. So go beyond those. What do you want to say about the person's smile? What do you want to say about their swagger or confidence? How do you want to feel in their arms? Liking the same things in bed could go on your list. It's nice and generic. Having a willingness to talk about sex, that I'm hoping is on everybody's list. Again, if it's a friendship you're looking for, we don't have to have this conversation. But if you're looking for a romantic partnership, hoo-ha is on the table, which means you have to be able to talk about sex, sexuality, what you desire, and both of you having a similar agreement and ability to and desire to actually talk about it is an important aspect of compatibility. So go ahead, if you haven't already, pick out your 5 to 7 things in the hoo-ha category that are truly most important to you. Do your best and write those down. And now you have 3 columns: a head column, a heart column, and a hoo-ha column. And don't worry, next episode, I'm going to tell you exactly how to use this chart on dates. But first, I want to get the chart really essentialized, really perfected. And when I say perfected, I don't mean you're looking for a perfect person, because goodness knows that doesn't exist. I mean representing you as accurately as it possibly can in terms of what you actually desire and what is a dream for you. Not a fantasy and not a sellout, but what is actually a dream for you. So I'm going to now walk you through the four most common mistakes people make when they make these charts, because I see it over and over again in my private coaching and my group coaching and Master the Art of Love. People show me their 3H chart and I always make the same exact correction. The 3H chart is kind of like an ad for what you're looking for. Or said another way, it's kind of a representation of your dream of the person you're going to find in terms of at least their assets. We'll talk about their liabilities some other week, but in terms of their assets, this is a representation of who you want. So you really want to make sure that this person that you're conjuring in your imagination or that you're telling your friends about is a fresh new person, not a reaction to something from your past. You want to make sure that your list doesn't have negatives in it, that your list is actually positive and speaks about what you want, not what you don't want. And it is a very common, very frequent mistake to make, to write about what you don't want. And some people even put that in their dating profiles. Gasp! Don't do it. Positivity is so important when it comes to the dating scene. So you want to have only positives on your list, and you really want to take care to make sure that it's clean energy. I don't mean that in the normal sense. Clean energy means you're not dragging past old baggagey energy, past resentments, past fears, past disappointments into the vibration you're putting out there for your future. Okay, vibration is real. You attract based on your vibration. And if your vibration is still pissy about what you haven't gotten in the past and not positive about what's in your future, unfortunately, that's going to affect how well you do in the dating game. So instead of saying things like no drama, you would say, I feel safe, or this feels really stable. Instead of saying nobody overweight or no health issues, because you don't want to represent yourself as somebody who doesn't care, even to yourself, right? As we age, we're all going to have health issues. So you would write something more like cares about his health, or cares about his well-being, or takes great care of himself, something inspiring and positive. Or here's some subtle stuff that sometimes people do. You could say something that sounds positive, but it's actually negative. Like you say, emotionally available, which is both a cliche, meaning it doesn't say much, and it's also very subtly negative. So instead of saying emotionally available, you would say something like, he wants to talk about everything, or he's willing to talk about anything. So you're really honing in on the positive thing that you want, not the thing that you don't want, even subtly. You might say something like financially stable, which again, on the surface sounds fine, sounds positive, but actually you really mean can afford my style of vacations, or can pay the bills, or doesn't need my money. So you want to say the thing that you do want, not the thing that's subtly negative or filled with baggage. Boom. Okay. I hope you can see, even in those subtle positive sentences, that they reek of the past, that you're bringing your past, your baggage into the future if you put those into your beautiful, pristine 3H chart. Words really matter, y'all. They really matter. And I'm going to keep talking about them. I'm going to talk about them for so many words, because words change how you think and how you feel and what you drag around with you, energetically speaking. So please imagine you had to show your list to a friend or a family member, or your date. Some people do that. It's just being honest about what you're looking for. So imagine, would you want to show them something that's all full of baggage or all full of negativity? Or would you want it to just be a beautiful representation of what you desire? That's what we're going for. Mistake number 2. You list a cliche, or you list something rather shallow. In other words, the shallow thing you say is something you think is going to make you feel a way, but it's actually not. So tall, successful, funny, that's a LinkedIn profile. It's a cliche and it's shallow because it's not saying much. It's sort of saying like, I would like you to make me look good. It's okay that those are the thoughts that you have about what you want. You know what you're attracted to, no problem. But I want you to go deeper and ask yourself, why? Why does that thing matter? Why does tall matter? Why does successful matter? Why does it matter to me? What is the feeling I think it's going to give me? Why tall? Maybe you want to feel feminine around him. Great. You're allowed to want to feel feminine. You can write that. Why successful? Maybe you want to be sure you're not going to have to pay any bills or pay for dates. Maybe you want to make sure he's not going after your money. That's fine. And why funny? I mean, funny I like that one. I want everyone to have sense of humor on their chart if they really care about that. You can keep it. It's not shallow to want somebody funny, but even saying funny as if there's some one interpretation of what that means does not really get at the truth about what you want. So maybe what you want is to appreciate his wit, or maybe you want to be laughing and having a good time. Those things leave a much more open space for what you are open to experiencing with somebody. So even just saying, I'm laughing and having a good time is a much better thing to put in your 3H chart than he's funny, as if there's some generic definition of that. Mistake number 3. You are not offering what you are asking for. You can see the irony in that, right? If you want healthy, take good care of yourself. If you want positivity, bring positivity. If you want emotional availability, be that. You want adventurous, get your passport ready. You want sexy, reconnect with your own sensuality. Okay. It's very common for us to want someone else to compensate for what we don't want to or haven't bothered to bring. But no, you've been single long enough. You're fine. You don't need a partner. You want a partner, which means they don't need to compensate for you. They don't need to bring something to the table that you can't bring for yourself or that you can't bring for them. So we're more looking for someone you're going to have fun playing with, not someone you need, not someone who's going to compensate for something lacking in you. And just imagine that, right? Of course, you don't need someone. You've already proven that. So don't be needy in your 3H chart. And then I want you to also just consider it's not really fair to ask something of someone else before you're willing to give it to. And I find this all the time, not just in new dating couples, but in people who've been together for years and years and years. We want something from the other person, we're not giving it ourselves. So the first line of business is to pay attention to yourself and give yourself the things that you desire. You want to have a good time, show yourself a good time. You want to feel loved, show yourself some love. You want to feel cared for, take care of yourself. You have to practice the things that you want to get from someone else on yourself so you know the feeling, you are vibrationally resonant with it, and you feel that you deserve it because you've already given it to yourself. Once you have given it to yourself, you're also able to give it to someone else. And that makes it more likely they'll want to do the same in return. So that goes for vulnerability, care, honesty, sensuality, sexuality, all of the things I mentioned. Nobody likes a double standard and nobody likes to feel used. Mistake number 4 we make in our 3H charts. You describe a woman, not the man of your dreams. I said it. I've seen this over and over again. So many women over 50 accidentally describe their best friend or themselves in their 3H chart, not the man they'd really fall for. And this is actually good news because you already probably have a best friend, so you don't need another one of those. Your partner should not be just like you. Your partner should not be a mirror. He should be a complement of you. And remember, you survived this long without him. He is the gravy, not the mashed potatoes. So, no, he does not need to accompany you in all your museum visits, your historical tours, your crossword puzzles, your walkathons. He may become your best friend of a kind, but remember, we're not replacing the gal that is currently your best friend. We don't want to replace her. He does not need to, nor should he replace her. And in fact, she may be much better at certain things that you have come to rely upon her for, like emotional conversations or long analytical conversations. Men are not notoriously great at that, and they don't appreciate when we try to turn them into our female best friends. So I'm suggesting you keep your female friends, use them for what they've been providing all these years, and find a man who provides what you want from a man, who wants to protect you, who wants to serve you, who wants to do things for you, who wants to give you advice, who wants to romance you, who wants to have sex with you. These are the kinds of things men want to provide. And if you're looking for a man, those are the kinds of things you should expect him to want to provide. He will, of course, want shared experiences with you. He'll want good conversation. He'll want you to care and support him. And if he is a good match for you, you'll easily give those things in return. And fun and adventure will be part of that for both of you, but he will not be your everything, nor should he be. So make sure when you're describing him, you are not describing someone who is your everything. You're going to keep your community, you're going to keep your family, your friends, your neighbors. Everyone has a role. and he is not replacing those. So when you think about what you're looking for, think of it as enhancing your life, not being your life. He's my life. No, that's not what we're going for. And that's why it's fine if he is not as good of a listener as your best friend, or not as good a tennis buddy as your sister, or not as good a cuddler as your grandchild. He does not have to be all those things. He has to make sense for your life. He has to basically want what you want. He has to have some shared activities in common with you that he enjoys. He has to make you feel good and safe. He has to make you feel beautiful. He has to make you feel seen and heard. He has to be able to communicate in conflict. And he has to be able to give and receive pleasure with you in a relatively easy manner. Those are the basics, and everything else is really gravy when it comes to a great man. I'm not asking you to lower your standards. I am simplifying and essentializing what you desire so that you can vibe high on the truth of what you really want. Now, I'm going to tell you Stacy's story, and the moral. I'll just give you the moral of the story right at the top, which is that once you get clear, you start attracting differently, and it happens really fast. Figuring out your three H's is not a quick fix. It's a clarity exercise that makes you feel good, number one. Number two, it makes you feel trustworthy to yourself again, like you can trust yourself to vet well. And number three, it makes you feel ready to date again with your eyes wide open. It's also fodder for what you tell your friends and family when you tell them you want to date again. You know, they're going to ask you what you're looking for. So creating the chart sets you straight. You go from confused and overwhelmed to ready, but don't rush in yet. I'm not done giving you all the tools. Please, this is just the beginning. I'll set you up. Don't you worry. But the creating of the chart is the first step. So Stacy, remember her? She kept picking guys essentially based on hoo-ha. If he was sexy and he picked her, she'd go for the ride. And she had a lot of fun doing that. That was not an unhappy life, but she wasted a lot of time and she had a lot of heartbreak. And so by the time she was in her 50s and she came to me looking for love, she was still single with many adventure stories, but she was tired and she was ready to try a different approach. And she loved spreadsheets. She was so into spreadsheets, even more than I am. So she really geeked out and made hers very specific and very beautiful. And she wrote out exactly what she wanted. The main thing she had to focus on really were head and heart. And one thing that was really important to her was that this person was an athlete, because she was an athlete and she really wanted to, that was the main extracurricular activity of her life. So she wanted someone to share in that with her. And she also really wanted to make sure that whoever she picked would like how obsessed she was with charts and organization and geeking out, and that he would think that was fun and funny. So you see how specific and essential those things are for her in particular. They're not cliche, they're not generic, they're not shallow. And she found exactly that once she wrote it down, not immediately, but within months after her writing down this wonderful 3H chart. She had to say no to a lot of people. Let me just say, it wasn't immediate. She had to say no to a lot of people when she made the chart, but suddenly the caliber was way up and she found her guy. And she showed her guy the chart, which was the big test. And he was so excited. He loved it and he wanted to make his own chart. Now, I'm not telling you that story because I'm recommending you show your chart to your possible dates. If you are a chart geek like me, you might want to, because that's part of getting to know each other and having fun together. So I'm not requiring anybody show their 3H chart to their potential partner in early dating. But if you do a good enough job making it positive and essential and inspiring, you may actually want to share it with your dates. You may want to shout it from the rooftops to anyone who will listen, because it's actually beautiful and hopeful and exciting to you. And you want everyone to know because they might know someone to introduce you to. Have you made your chart yet? If not, here's another chance. If you didn't do it while you were listening, perhaps you were driving or doing the dishes, no problem. You have this week until next episode to make your 3H chart. Pick your 5 to 10 items in each category. So the chart now has 3 columns across the top and 5 to 10 rows down. And for each item, just check how you've written it. Is it clear why you care about the thing, or is it a cliche? Why do I care about it? What you care about is what should go in the cell. Who told me that mattered? Where did I get the idea that tall mattered? Where did I get the idea that politics mattered? Where did I get the idea that finances mattered? Just ask yourself, where does this come from? And do I still agree that it matters? And why? Then ask yourself, what is my theory on how I'm going to feel if I get this criteria? If I find someone who fits this criteria, how am I going to feel? And put that as your criteria instead. I feel safe. I feel sexy. I feel loved. How do I say this in the positive, not in the negative? And do I really need this from a man? Ask yourself that. Am I getting enough of this from myself or from my loved ones or my friends? Do I need this from a man? Or is it just a nice to have? In which case, great, you can put it on the nice to have list. It doesn't have to be a must have. Am I willing to provide this in return? Ask yourself, and just question yourself for a minute. If you're not willing to provide it in return, why is it so important to you? And what is there for you to look at for your own life? Now, I drill deeper on all of this in my free webinar, which if you haven't taken a look at it, the details are in the show notes. Check it out. If you need this lesson of articulating what it is you want from the heart and the head and the hoo-ha, the class again will walk you through creating that chart, and it will talk about the 3-date strategy, which is our topic for next week. So don't worry, the 3-date strategy is coming too. Next week, we're going to start with how to actually use the 3H chart. Now that you have it, how do you use it in real life dating? I will show you the 3-date strategy, break that down for you, and cover the 4 clues that tell you whether someone's a maybe or a move on. Again, we're fixing your picker. We're getting you really good at figuring out what you really want and only choosing to proceed with people who fit that description. You will not want to miss next week, so I will see you there. If you want to watch me on video and you're listening to me right now, you can find me on my website, lauriegerber.com. You can also find me on YouTube. You just listened to or watched Love at Any Age, where I help women over 50 unlock love with real tools, bold truth, and zero fluff. If you're ready to stop guessing and start choosing for your head, heart, and hoo-ha, check out the free webinar, 3 Secrets to Finding and Maintaining Healthy Love Without Repeated Disappointments. That's where I'm going to go into the 3H chart and the 3-date strategy. It's at lauriegerber.com/webinar. And before you go, if this episode helped you, please let it help other people too. You can get it to them by sharing it with them, by following me, by rating me, by leaving a comment, and of course, looking out for who in your world is dating again or sitting on the bench hoping they're dating, and turn them on to this podcast. It is meant to be of help and of service to as many people possible. I will see you next week.